Good morning, students. I hope you have no doubts about the previous lecture. Let's begin with the 10th pattern. Pattern 10. Subject plus verb of sensation plus object plus ing verb, etc. Verbs of sensation are used in this pattern. The verbs of sensation which we have already used in 8th pattern, the same verbs will be used in this pattern. The difference in 8th pattern and this pattern is that in the 8th pattern we have used the base form of verb after the object, whereas in the 10th pattern the object is followed by ing verb. The object after the verb of sensation may be followed by the base form of verb or by the ing form. In the 8th pattern, after the verb of sensation, object is followed by the base form of verb, and in the 10th pattern, the object is followed by the ing verb. Let us see some examples. I saw the police running after the thief. I is the subject, saw is the second form of the verb see, the police is the object, running is the ing verb, after the thief is the prepositional phrase. She felt someone's hand pushing her. She is the subject, felt is the second form of verb feel, someone's hand is the object, pushing is the ing verb, her is extra part. We smelt the wire burning. We is the subject, smelt is the second form of the verb smell, the wire is the object, and burning is the ing verb. Vikram heard someone shouting outside his house. Vikram is the subject, heard is the second form of the verb hear, someone is the object, shouting is the ing verb, outside his house is the prepositional phrase. The teacher noticed a student sneaking out of the class. The teacher is the subject, noticed is the verb, a student is the object, sneaking is the ing verb, out of the class is the prepositional phrase. So boys and girls, with this we come to the end of the first chapter of your grammar supplement. I hope that the pattern number 10 is clear to all of you. Now let us do a quick revision of all the 10 patterns that we have done, because if any student had missed any part or has not understood anything, it will become clear to all of you. So, revision of 10 patterns. Pattern number 1, subject plus verb. The verbs used here are intransitive verbs of complete predication. These verbs function as the predicate in the sentence and they do not need any object to complete its meaning. Pattern number 2, subject plus verb plus complement. The verbs used in this pattern are linking verbs or copular verbs. The verbs used here are intransitive verbs of incomplete predication. Complement is known as subject complement because the complement is given to the subject. It describes the subject. A complement can be a noun phrase or an adjective phrase. Now, pattern number 3 is subject plus verb plus object. The verbs used here are transitive verbs. The verb is always followed by a direct object. The verbs used are monotransitive verbs. Mono, boys and girls, means one. It means the verb will take only one direct object. Moving on to the next pattern, pattern 4 is subject plus verb plus object plus object. The verbs used in this pattern are ditransitive verbs. Ditransitive verbs take two objects. Yes, boys and girls, di means two. So ditransitive verbs take two objects. First object is the receiver of the gift, that is the indirect object, and second object is the gift, which is the direct object. In this pattern, the indirect object comes before the direct object. Then we have pattern number 5. Subject plus verb plus object, to, for plus object. Verb takes two objects. That means they are ditransitive verbs. In this pattern, the direct object comes before the indirect object. Subject, ditransitive verb, first the direct object, then the preposition to or for, and then the indirect object. Here, doer give something to or for somebody. Then we move on to the next pattern, pattern 6, which is subject plus verb plus object plus complement. Verbs here are called complex transitive verbs. Only a few verbs can be used as complex transitive verbs. Boys and girls, please keep this in mind, that only a few verbs can be used as complex transitive verbs. You cannot use all the transitive verbs here. Complement here is the object complement, because we give the complement to the object, right? The complement says something or describes the object that it follows. Moving on to next pattern, pattern number 7, which is subject plus verb plus adverbial or prepositional phrase. Now this one is the simplest one. The form of be comes between the subject and the adverbial or the prepositional phrase. Prepositional phrase is obligatory. It is compulsory to use the prepositional phrase in this pattern, otherwise the sentence will be incomplete. So the prepositional phrase is obligatory. Then we move on to the next pattern, pattern number 8, that is subject plus verb of sensation or perception plus object plus base form of verb. Now, boys and girls, here verbs of sensation are used in this pattern, and verb of sensation describes one of the 5 senses, that is sight, hearing, smell, touch and taste. These are the 5 senses. So verb of sensation describes one of the 5 senses. In this pattern we use verbs of sensation. Along with the verbs of sensation, the verb make can also be used in this pattern. Now let's move on to pattern number 9. Subject plus verb plus object plus to infinitive. Some verbs must be followed by a noun or pronoun when they are used with a to infinitive. Okay, boys and girls. Then we have the next pattern, that is pattern number 10. Subject plus verb of sensation plus object plus ing verb. Now, some verbs, the same, we here because it is verb of sensation, so the same verbs of sensation will be used which we have already used in pattern 8, right? In pattern 8 and in pattern 10, verbs of sensation, the same verbs will be used. Object after the verb of sensation may be followed by the base form of verb or by the ing verb. Children, please go through all the patterns very carefully, and whenever you use them, please stick to the pattern, follow the pattern. I hope that this chapter 1 of your grammar supplement, the first chapter, is clear to you all. If you have any queries, if you have any doubts, you can ask me. Be safe and have a good day.